In the previous lesson, we talked about lighting in MUDBOX and how we can set up nice renderings and also animations to present our work and what we've done so far in MUDBOX. So we work with sculpting, we work with painting, with materials, with lighting, and we experimented with the three-point lighting system to create some nice three-dimensional like neon light effect. And you can of course continue and create more and more different situations with lighting. And also we talk about how we can apply filters and improve the image, and also how we can use ambient occlusion and cavity and the depth of field effect when we want to uh, put something in focus in our frame and something out of focus. Like in this case, we have our character in focus and something in the background is in defocus. So in this video, we will continue to talk about filters a little bit, and when we will export um, not only renderings and animations, which we already did actually in the previous video. So we created a couple of animation and videos here. So this is an animation of a simple pose. So you can use posing tools and then record whatever you do with those rigging and skeleton and bones and joints. And also we saw that we can create a simple turntable, which is basically a camera rotating around your subject in 360-degree. So in this video, we will talk about how we can export in low poly and high poly. So how we can export the geometry and how we can use a bump map or a normal map or an ambient occlusion. So different types of maps to recreate those details that we have in high poly, but without actually adding too many polygons. So we will try to keep the number of polygons down while staying with the same details. Now you can continue then after this. You can continue with Photoshop and GIMP or Pixar if you want to do photo editing, photo montages. You want to create graphic design and um, everything you want to do in post-production that MUDBOX doesn't have. And if you're working with video, you should work with Premiere Pro. Shortcuts, it's an open source version, or After Effects. And then you have rendering. You can do renderings with V-Ray. We're talking about high realistic renderings with V-Ray, and you can do interiors, architecture, entertainment, whatever you want, interior design, industrial design, automotive design. So you can use those models for everything. You can also use Corona or Octane, which are other really popular render engine out there. So again, they can be used for creating better renderings and better animation. And you can also use Blender and Cycles render engine, which is pretty good as well. Or also, and that's open source. And also you can use Unreal Engine 5, and which is a really powerful engine to do renderings. But also if you want to create like animation and also interaction with the scene or customized characters that needs to be in a game, in a video game. So you can use all these different tools. Well, depending what your work is and what you want to do with your models, you can proceed your work in post-production and other fields using those software. And if you're interested in those software, you can look for them in the channel. Now you can see here I've created two eye bulbs in MUDBOX using simple create and mesh and sphere. I created a big sphere and then I just scale it down to match the size for the eye bulbs. Then I move them and copy that, creating a duplicate, a perfecto copy. And then if you go to mesh, to the mesh menu, you can combine. So this is an operation that you can do every time. So you need to decide if you want to like combine things and then export them, especially if you're talking about the mesh exporting. If you want to export them all attached to one mesh, or if you want to export different meshes in order to keep them separated. So you need to understand what you need to do with your model. If you need to do animation, you probably want to separate like the eyes from the mouth and the body and the clothing. If you need to do like a video game, probably you want like to bind everything together or to combine everything together. So depending on what you need to do, you need to figure out if you want to combine or separate. Now I'm creating a new material here for the eyes so that we can then project some the pupils and the iris, so we can have a more realistic eye. But what you can do actually here also use is incandescence. This is another nice effect that you can add when you have like a light in your scene or some object that is actually emissive. So this is kind of, more science fiction thing. And in the view filters, let's go back there. You can also create a normal map from a simple view like this, and you can use this as a bas relief when you need to apply some fake superficial 3D effect. That's the normal map use, and we already talked about this a little bit previously. So remember, when you create texture, try to stay in the square size. So try not to do strange proportions. Try to keep it well, something like 124 times 124. This is kind of a medium quality texture, and that's it. So this is one way you can also export uh, images and textures and maps. So always you need to define a folder and a name for your file, and this could be a normal map again that could be used like a bas relief. So everything you do in your view can be used and turned into a bas relief, but we're gonna get also back to this later on. We're gonna create some displacement effect, and let's render again, and this is gonna be like a more realistic effect. And one important thing, if you don't want the background, remember to specify that, and remember also to save in PNG. So you can see that some of these images have a background and some of those not. So if you need to do post-production and photo montaging, then you need, well, it's probably better if you don't have a background. So if you have a transparent background and an alpha channel, and that can be possible by saving a PNG, which is a format that contains 4 channels, and the fourth one is the alpha channel, which is going to give you transparent background. And I'm also going to show you how you can do a quick photo montage in Pixar, which is a free website that you can use. Now another filter here is the non-photorealistic filter, which is kind of a hand drawing effect or sketch effect. This could be cool if you need to do some, I don't know, environment or character design and you want to show it more like a cartoon or like comics than something realistic. So this is why they're called non-realistic. So just go there, play with the parameters and see what you can do, and if you find something of your interest. And that's another option again when you are in your final stage of MUDBOX, when you need to export, present your work, decide how you want to show it to your client or to your colleagues or to your friends or whatever. Now, you can continue here to work with apparel design, graphic design, branding, logos, graphic design by exporting the texture, and then you can work with that texture again in Photoshop or GIMP or Pixar or other graphic design applications. Now here I can simply select the paint layer that I want to continue to work with in another software, and I can just extract. So I can just do export or extract. So export, extract, it's